Hello and welcome to the Dead Unicorn. My name is Corey, and I am here with Tarek. We are the tabletop role-playing game club, and we're talking about Legend of the Five Rings again today. By the way, on my last Legend of the Five Rings video, the short history video, which is out now, I want to thank everybody for the outpouring of support on that video. That's really touched me. So thank you. And let's continue to make some L5R content together. Let's continue to celebrate
Yeah.
the fandom that we love. So we're gonna go over the Mantis Clan book and the GM kit.
You got a big celebration in store for you today.
Tarek, what's
Wait.
going on with you before we get into it?
Not much. I've been a little ill this week, but I'm working through it. Other than that, I think we're good. The Mantis. So I've read the Mantis book and the GM's kit booklet that came with the GM screen.
Yes.
Which is funny because it comes it comes as two different files, and one file is just the image for the player side of the screen, and one image is the is just a PDF of all of the things that are supposed to be on the GM screen. So it's a really interesting way that they kind of put that together. It's kind of strange because you can print out the backing of the screen, but you can't print out the front for the GM side of things, except as like a PDF handout. And so it's just
As a PDF, they're just trying to give you everything that was there that came. I understand. They're just trying to give everything
all the
that's
details
there.
as a
All the
PDF,
details.
yeah.
Even though if you're buying it as a PDF, you're probably playing the game online and you're not using a Game Master screen at all anyways. It's kind of useless there.
Unless they let you use the official art for the back of it and like your VTT stream or something like that, then I don't know why they would do that.
But let's talk about the Mantis Clan first. So,
Sure, yeah.
I'd like to give a little background before we start on this book and why this exists. So, you'll not see another minor clan that has their own book. This was when the Legend of the Five Rings game came out, the 5th edition, the Fantasy Flight edition. They restarted the entire storyline, which means that during the previous storyline, the Mantis clan had risen to power and become a major clan and became a fan favorite. People adored the Mantis clan. And
yeah, it was huge.
And it was all undone. All of that. And they're back down to being a minor clan. And
a like small scattering of minor clans.
And a huge part of the fandom was pretty ticked off about this. Even if you weren't a Mantis clan, like, even if that wasn't your identity, the clan that you loved, you still kind of felt for them. You still kind of was like, that's kind of, I mean, if you're going to restart the storyline and make your own storyline, maybe make the Mantis something.
A major clan already? Yeah.
Yeah.
Or like have the Yoritomo stuff already have happened to like upraise Yoritomo or whatever. Or make your own version of how Yoritomo got made into a clan.
Or change the Mantis clan so they're like a bigger player. Like, they're very important, even though they're still considered a minor clan. But no, none of that happened. Instead, there was a huge outcry, and it feels like the people who made the role-playing games threw this book together as quickly as they could and shoved it online as a free PDF that would help enhance your game.
Stop complaining.
Here it is.
Yeah.
Here's your Mantis stuff. Go away now. And
exactly.
It does some things really right, and it does some things really terribly.
Yeah, to say the least. And we were just talking about how like they don't even give the full identity of the Islands of Silk and Steel or like the supporting cast of the Mantis clan, the people that work together with them, because they do talk about the in other books. They talk about the Centipede clan. They talk about this book talks about the Mantis clan, but I don't think there's anywhere in any of the books that talks about the Saruchi family and their influence in all of this as well.
So here's the first problem with this book. There is no lore in this at all.
Not at all.
There is just, here is what the Mantis clan stats are and their school is, and their like
fluff
adjoining stuff, and there's no like lore or fluff to go with it. There's no
it's very minor, and it's only in the descriptions of things.
We got
there is some lore and descriptions.
We got a story, and then we got a little tiny bit of we have the Mantis clan sidebar over here. There are many minor clans, but the most famous is the Mantis. So, if you read, go ahead.
They even said if you want to build a Mantis character, just use the Worldly Ronin book rules from the core rule book. But I guess here's some other options. Like it's like so petty.
So if you look at the other supplement books, each one of the supplemental books besides Emerald Empire and Path of Waves, like if you get Courts of Stone or the Shadowlands or Fields of Victory, each one of those books has a minor clan in it, and they get an entire chapter breaking down their history, their lands, their culture, their and then at the back of the book it'll give you like, here's a school, here's their family trait for here's their family bonuses, and here's a school. And that's usually all you get on rules. And here in the Mantis clan book, there's nothing that tells you why they exist. It does say that they don't have a family name for complicated reasons, but they don't go into it's complicated.
Yeah, they say it's complicated reasons, but instead they just use their ship or port designation.
Yeah.
Like if you come from this port, you're that port name dot family name dot youtube.com.
Yeah. Their names have the @ symbol attached to them.
Exactly.
Remember to hashtag your Mantis clan personality. But that's fine. That makes them different and unique. Sure. But yeah, with no lore, it definitely shows that this was for Mantis clan fans who already knew who the Mantis were and wanted this to play their favorite Mantis. Yeah, that's who this was.
They did not care.
Yeah.
You already know what you want to do. Just do it. Here's some basic rules that we're throwing together.
Mind you, the rules in this book are more robust than rules in like supplemental books.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's concentrated. They're concentrated down into like the essence of a thing. So even though they like refuse to give you any kind of lore information or like elucidate what it is that the Mantis are and what they do or who they are, they did just give you all of that flavor inside a couple schools and a family.
Yeah.
And that I think it's an interesting approach.
Stormfleet Sailor School is, I mean, it's fine. It's not great. If you get to
until you get to the rank 6, then it's awesome.
Yeah, rank 6 is great.
Yeah.
You can just
they also get like a lot of really cool kata and stuff that I would not have thought they should get. And I always think, when I think of the Mantis, I always think about them having like fighting with 2 kama. But they didn't really give you that feel in this like thing. I mean, you don't start with a katana, which is interesting. You only start with a wakizashi, and then any 2 weapons of rarity 6 or lower, which I guess you could take katana, but I think that is designed to be like the 2 kama thing, or maybe 2 of the like hook swords that they defined in the book, which we can get to later, more detailed. But yeah, they have a completely different feel in this edition than in older editions, I think, pretty heavily.
So
I do like one thing that I will point out about this thing is they get that technique Osana Woe's Boast,
yes,
which I think is amazing. And I hope we
that
cover that
that
a little
we
later.
will cover that.
Yeah,
So
it's so fun.
Stormfleet Tide Seer is the Shugenja, and I don't know what. Okay, their regular ability is when you can exclude people from your spells, from your area effect spell, which is I think is amazing and awesome, and I think it's
You can
powerful.
except for the spiritual backlash. So you can exclude people, but they still take your spiritual backlash if they were part of the targeting area.
Yes.
Which also means that if you want to like cast a spell that hurts a bunch of people and target a bunch of enemies around you, you can exclude your friends and everybody, but everybody still takes the spiritual backlash if you invoke that, and so it could potentially do a little bit of damage to your friends, but also do extra damage to or like extra complications to everybody around you, so enemies included, which is it's interesting. I don't understand what the rank 6 technique does though.
Me neither, because there's nothing that says smite in any of the books. What is
Yeah,
smite?
there's no such thing as a smites
Yeah,
thing. I don't know what that is supposed to be implying about.
I
I
don't
went
know.
and looked around on other books, and there's nothing that references that smites one or more targets. I don't. Does that mean
Yeah,
that it damages one or more targets? Does it mean that I don't
I
know what the hell that's supposed to mean?
I also looked in the errata. There's nothing errata for the Mantis Clan book.
Okay, yeah.
So
They just don't want to acknowledge it.
so the Mantis technique. The first thing for Mantis technique. There's only one technique in this book, and it's a Sonos
Yeah.
Woe's Boast, and it doesn't tell you if it's a kata or a shuji or an invocation. It is a shuji because
Yeah.
like
That's it gives it the little symbol next to it. So
yeah,
that's
because if
it.
you look back in the schools, you can see Asano's Woe's Boast has the Shuji symbol, but it never tells you over here in the technique area.
Yeah.
But it's super powerful. Go ahead, Tarek. Tell them
It's
what.
awesome. Yeah, so like you make a commander performance check, basically saying that you're gonna do something like, oh yeah, I'm gonna jump from this boat, the mast of this boat, onto the fucking deck of the other boat, 3 knots away or whatever, and then you if you succeed, you get like a bonus to your composure and your endurance, while like for that scene or until you complete the boast. And then if you do actually manage to succeed, or like if you do actually try to do the thing regardless of whether you succeed or fail, everybody else in the scene, all of the other characters, can do the action immediately, can follow after you and try to do any other character. Oh, I guess who knows the technique? So any other Mantis, because it's a Mantis
Yeah,
technique specifically. So all the other Mantis. So it means in my mind, one pirate jumps across the bow of their ship onto another ship, and then all of their friends, all of the other Mantis, jump off the thing following after them, like an awesome
so
like boarding scene. That's what comes to my mind.
the biggest thing you have to do beforehand is you got to make the boast. Like I can do this.
Yeah.
Watch me do it, which means every time a Mantis with Osana Woe's Boast issues a duel or accepts a duel, they can
Everybody else can do the same thing.
they well, they can use Osana Woe's Boast in this, giving them +3
Plus
strife and
three.
+3. Yeah,
Yeah.
right.
And plus three composure. Yeah. As long as they don't fail the check because or not do the thing, they have to follow through because otherwise they take the penalty at the end of the scene, or if they don't, if they didn't complete the deed that they said, then they take strife and fatigue. But it also means that if you succeed at challenging somebody that round, all of your friends can then also challenge that person, or also like whatever it is. They don't give
Yeah,
you any definitions of what a boast deed should be confined to. So whatever you imagine it is, like I'm going to climb that mountain and then everybody climbs the mountain, or I'm going to punch the emperor and then everybody punches the emperor. Like it could be whatever you want. Like it's so loosely defined that it's really I mean, I think it's a fun technique. I don't know that it's super powerful except for like the lemming thing. Like everybody's gonna follow along with that one dude.
As long as they have the technique too, yeah.
As long as they have the technique too. But every Mantis gets access to it.
Yep.
Either at second or third level. So yeah, it's good.
So let's go to the advantages and disadvantages. Blood of a Son of Woe has that thing that is like it stacks with Son of Woe's boast. So when you perform a check, when you need to take a great risk, you can reroll up to 2 dice. For me, this is the
Daredevil.
Yeah, it's like the Daredevil feat or advantage from earlier editions, but it's also the what am I trying to say? The rules lawyer delight.
Oh yeah, okay.
As in, I need to take a great risk. Well, that's every action now for the rules lawyer.
Yeah, every single action is going to be a great risk. This is risky. This is super risky. What are you talking about? If I don't choose the right utensil to use in this moment, I might lose honor. That's a risk.
Exactly.
I also think the first part of this advantage is super powerful, which is you cannot be killed by storms, such as being struck by lightning or going overboard in a tempest. If you would die in this way, instead you wake up later in a place of the GM's choice, miraculously safe and with 0 void points. That's an awesome fucking ability. That's very specific.
I love that.
Very, very specific. That's awesome.
I love that.
That is super powerful and super flavorful, and I love
No, the thing is this is an advantage that gives the game master a lot of leeway with story now. Like, you could make a storm and just be like, I strike you with a lightning bolt, you fly off the ship, we'll figure your shit out later.
Yeah, exactly.
You're gonna wake up and it's gonna be awesome.
You're gonna wake up in the Ivory Kingdom and there's gonna be you're gonna have a harem of ladies. This is an isekai, the beginning of an isekai.
Or you're gonna
shocked by lightning and you wake up in another world.
You're gonna wash up on the shores of the big bad guy's secret lair and you get to report back. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. You can do anything with this. It's super fun.
All right.
I think the next one is also pretty interesting. It works well if you're making that kind of a like seafaring adventure. There's some really interesting advantages here, like the sea legs not getting seasick and stuff like that, and the fact that this one also has a built-in disadvantage into it as well, where you feel unstable on stable ground. But you're really good at keeping your balance on unstable ground. I think that's a cool trade-off.
We can skip not work.
Not work I thought was interesting in the lore stuff, because it talks about like how different religious orders use knots to kind of signify prayers and stuff, which I was like, that's kind of interesting. I never really thought about that before, in terms of like what the significance of those knots on people's belts and stuff were, but that's a side note.
I like how sailor's tongue is a disadvantage. Like, talking like a sailor makes people not like you in courtly situations. Yeah. Love it. Love it. I love that too.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think that's a great disadvantage for anybody to take, though. Like, if you're a crab, that's an awesome disadvantage too.
So, Mantis equipment. I notice a lot of Mantis equipment has snaring on it, and I've had problems with the snaring rules.
Yeah.
Right.
They also have explicit rules on how they modify checks too. Have you noticed that? A lot of these items, the weapons and items, do things, like do very specific things in addition to what their stats on the table.
I freaking love that. I think that's amazing. Like, the size, if you have a pair of size, you can snare even easier. And I'm like, why don't all weapons be like this?
Have these things. Yeah, exactly. That's exactly what I was thinking when I was reading through this book, is like, they went so specifically on these weapons and items, but in this one book, and then they went super general with all the rest of them, and I don't understand why. It's so much better to have this extra detail.
The guy who wrote this book, did he write any other of these stupid books? Like, who wrote this here? Design and development, Max Brook.
Yeah.
Like, good job, Max Brook, with the rules here, because let me just check this. I have Emerald Empire right here. Is Max Brook in on this? Did he do the other books? Let me check.
I would check. Let me check. I'm
Tim
gonna check Courts of
Cox.
Stone real quick.
No, I don't think. Max Brook might be just for this, and he went hard on the rules.
He did. Yeah, Sam Gregor Stewart in Courts of Stone, which has a bunch of the other like equipment. But Max Brook was Legend of the Five Rings story review person in Courts of Stone. He was an editor, like I guess reviewing all the story details that were in this book. That was it.
Yeah, he's in on a couple of the other books. He's in the Shadowlands and he's in Celestial Realms. But
yeah,
like,
but not making obviously not making specific rulings on equipment, because you listen to this guy, he's got some good ideas.
I mean, maybe he just had a lot of time to put this together. I don't know what happened. I don't know. Yeah. But whatever they did, like, the rules in this book are better than the rules in most of the other books. But there's no, like, lore here.
Yeah.
Sailor's garb. They have rules for protection qualities on just regular sailor's garb.
And the shark skin stuff that it gets, it gives you bonuses, like 2 bonus successes whenever resisting a critical strike.
Yeah.
If you're wearing that armor. That's really cool. That was really awesome.
That's insanely like useful. That's pretty powerful.
And it's not just something that the Mantis wear. In the NPC section, there's creatures that wear that shark skin, and they get the same bonus, which I thought was also really cool.
So aquatic NPCs. Look, there's an NPC section. There's hardly NPC sections in the other books.
Yeah. You gotta really, 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 very rarely, like, and you gotta pick through it.
The Shadowlands book had a pretty good NPC section, but Fields of Victory and Rid of the Wilds has no NPCs.
None of them, yeah.
So, like,
and they're good too. I like the Ningyo. That is awesome. The drag under action is really cool. They're very flavorful with the coral tip spears and their shark leather armor. And then also they have sea trolls, which I thought was also cool.
And I don't mind that they put in like just a regular shark, eel, and octopus. Those are threats that you'll find in the ocean.
If you're playing a sea-based campaign, 100%, all of these things could be the different threats that are interesting. And it kind of gives you a little bit of details into like what to expect if you're wanting to throw stuff at. I wish they had like the Great Kumo or something like that in here as well. That would have been interesting, but
that wasn't even in the Crane book.
Put together really quickly. I know, yeah.
That's it. That's everything here. There's nothing. That's the end of this book. We've gone through it.
Yeah.
All right, off to. Give me 1 second.
Do you want to rate this book first before we move on to the next one? Or do you want to do both at the same time?
Let's rate the book. Give me a second.
Sure.
We'll put that over there. And okay. So neither of these, or I'm sorry, the Mantis Clan is not shelf worthy because there is no.
Yeah, because it's not a shelf book.
Yeah. So.
But I do think that everyone should pick up this PDF download. It is free and it has a lot of good rules. If for no other reason than if you're looking to modify rules in L5R to make other items or make other weapons more flavorful, this could give you some inspiration for it. And the rules in this book are pretty solid. Like they're all just pretty good.
All right, we're putting it as a PDF for the player and narrator to both have.
Yeah, I think that fits very well.
Okay, my cat has come to join me. Let's move on then to. I gotta change this PDF. Give me 1 second here. Configure. And then boop. And we're here. We're at the GM book. This is the GM kit. This is the cover. I know it's kind of uninspired, but hey, what are you gonna do? They were only selling this for game masters, not for everybody, I guess.
Yeah.
I mean, it's pretty nice. It looks peaceful.
It looks strangely peaceful for the content of this book.
Yes. So the
Uh,
content is so there's basically two pieces parts of this book. The first part is all about the Tortoise clan, the Tortoise Miner clan, and that's the part we're going to be
mhm.
focusing on. And the second part is an adventure called Dark Tides, which I did a full playthrough on this channel. There's a playlist if you want to see us play through Dark Tides.
It was really fun. Dark Tides was one of the highlights of that of like the adventure modules they've released. I'd say it's probably one of their best written and best like most intriguing, most it's like heavily intrigue based. So if you like that kind of a game style, please go check it out.
Also, one thing I'd like to say about the adventure before we go on is this adventure, like it can be run separately, but can be run in sequence
Yeah,
as part of a
and they
larger
talk about the
campaign
sequences.
that L5R started to do. Like the first adventure is the beginner. If you start with the beginner book and go from there to the online free adventure Palace of the Emerald Champion, where that leaves off, Dark Tides picks up. It's the next in that series.
And it's really good as a triple or like a as three different parts of the campaign. I think it's a really great introduction into L5R, into the storylines, and it's I don't know how like easy it was to run. I know that we had some hiccups along the way and some things that we needed to kind of like
Oh,
integrate or modify
I had a
from
blast.
your side, but I thought it was a blast playing through it. It was really fun.
Also, when this adventure ends, it goes seamlessly into Mask of the Oni, which is the best L5R adventure for this edition of the
Hands down.
yeah.
Yeah.
So Dark Tides, if you are just planning to do Mask of the Oni, check out Dark Tides and see if you want to like have your players do this, and then that
Eh,
move into that will Dark Tides. The main one of the main bad guys is a blood speaker in Mask of the
yeah.
Oni, and that character is introduced here in Dark Tides.
Hmm.
So
And there's just a lot of great characters in this
the
book. There's a
cat
lot of great
masked
NPCs.
the cat
They're
masked
great.
the cat masked scorpion.
Scorpion is in here, yeah.
That's
The cat
very
mask Scorpion is
lonely.
in here.
He's so
The
lonely.
the the like drug addicted crane guy too,
Yeah,
Amano, Peter
yeah.
Amano. Mhm. Tragic guy, tragic character. When I was reading through this book, I was like, oh, I feel bad now for what I did to this guy.
Oh yeah, you fucked him over pretty bad.
My only excuse is that that's what my character was like. My character was that kind of person.
Yep.
But Jesus Christ, going through it, I was like, oh, that was
And then
I was a bit harsh on this guy.
of course
But I was being blackmailed to do it. Yeah.
I had a lot of fun with the like Near East trader smuggler guy. He was a
Oh
funny
yeah.
character.
Oh yeah. Asim. Wasn't his name Asim? Isn't that it?
Let's. I'm gonna try and find him. Here
Asif.
he is.
Asif. Asif.
Asif.
Yeah.
Ah yes,
Asif the
Asif the Smooth.
Very smooth.
I'm an
Yeah,
operator.
he was great.
Haha.
Yeah, it also like it's very good at making you question what you know and how you're playing so far, especially if you do it in sequence. This game is a great like change of pace to everything you've played up until this point in L5R, because the Kasuga just we can get into the Kasuga at this point, but the Kasuga family and how they operate just really throws a wrench into what you imagine when you think of Rokugan and L5R, like honor system and polite society and everything. And it's a great just change up and wrench to throw at your players to see how they can, whether they can kind of sink or swim with this adventure on.
So let's talk about the tortoise. Tell
Yeah.
me, Tara, because I think you know this. What the impetus, the creators of the Tortoise Clan, the writers of L5R, the original ones who made the Tortoise Clan, what do you know about what they were trying to do with it?
So I think they were trying to make a literal like Yakuza reference here with
I
the
think
Kasuga.
I think the reference is way more pop culture-y than you think.
Okay, fill me in. What do you think?
So these guys, yeah, they're smugglers, they're underworld people, right? And their clan is a tortoise. So, these guys, they lurk in the
Oh, the
shadows.
Ninja Turtle.
They're
Yeah,
Ninja
yeah,
Turtles. That's
yeah. They're
exactly what
Teenage
they
Mutant Ninja
are.
Turtles. They definitely are. Yeah, they definitely are Ninja Turtles. They do have a distinct Yakuza flair to them
They do.
in terms of like they are the smuggler underworld kind of people. But they also have this kind of weird special dispensation to operate by the emperor through a mandate to protect them, because they ostensibly are basically keeping tabs on everything that goes on in the underworld and with foreign trade, and reporting that, like relaying that information. They're kind of like the covert operations of the emperor, but nobody's supposed to really know what their mandate is or why they're doing what they're doing. They just have like CIA rights of like, once they show you their badge, you're not supposed to ask any more questions.
And
In fact,
just
the Kasuga have an ability that gives them status equal to 90 whenever they're like, no, don't ask any more questions. You have to like immediately acquiesce to their demand. Otherwise, you forfeit a bunch of honor and glory to kind of question them anymore. Which I think is awesome.
and like the CIA, they are running drugs.
Yeah, and causing coups in other countries.
Yeah, yeah, uh-huh.
Exactly. Yeah, exactly right. They are crazy.
So let's go to their school is the Kasuga Smuggler School, which is an interesting like it's like, what school do you go to? The Kasuga school? Like
Yeah.
it needs a different name.
Like, yeah. We're really cool. We don't do what you think we're doing. We smuggle plums.
We're
That's what we do.
we're the Kasuga Snuggler School. You heard us wrong. We're snugglers.
Smuggler school. Yeah, we're just sweet little snuggling turtles, We're just nice little turtles. Stop asking questions, you son of a bitch. Like,
So their
exactly.
their ability is they may add a number of opportunity to their school rank, equal to their school rank, to any check to interact with gaijin, peasants, merchants, just the ne'er-do-wells of society. If you're on the outskirts,
Anyone with status under 20, yeah, everybody, just like
yeah,
anyone who's basically a piece of shit or like poor, they got you.
and then the master ability, the rank 6 ability is don't question me. I have the voice of the emperor on my side.
Exactly, which I love that ability.
Oh god,
it's so fucking funny. Just don't look over here while they're like stabbing somebody and dragging a bunch of drugs off the floor. They're like,
like that.
The Emerald Magistrates are like, don't look over here. There's nothing to see here. Nothing to see here, guys.
That scene from Naked Gun where the fireworks are going off and Drebin is out there going, nothing to see here.
Yeah, exactly. That's exactly it. There's nothing to see here, guys. Are y'all murdering and burning down that orphanage? Nope, nothing to see here. It's perfectly fine.
So
they didn't pay their protection money.
There is, so I fast forwarded to where it says playing tortoise characters, but the beginning of the book does talk about like, where does the tortoise clan come from, right? Why do they exist? And then it goes into their main holding, which is Slow Tide Harbor.
Yeah.
And it goes through like it really kind of granularly goes through this city. It's a small village yeah, it is. It's a 3,000 I would say it's like a village. 3,000 people.
It's a village, yeah.
And it talks about like the Tortoise clan. Most people don't know that the Tortoise clan exists.
Yeah.
Which is interesting considering that a tortoise clan can basically, their rank 6 ability is, oh, I have the ear of the emperor. You have to follow what I say. What? I don't even know. I didn't know you existed 5 seconds ago.
Exactly. Well, keep not knowing I exist and walk your ass on. Like that's the feel that
it's
you
kind
get.
of, it's a Men in Black kind of thing. It's like we show up in our suits, we flash a badge, and then you have to let us do what we do. What is
Exactly.
I've never seen those groups of letters before. What does the NPRD do? You know, like, and also it talks about how there might be like one or two tortoise just like hanging out in different towns, and like smuggling runs through them, like they're, which gives me an idea if anybody ever takes a disadvantage or a background where they owe somebody money, a tortoise is a great person to owe money to.
Oh yeah.
They will come after you, but the thing is if you don't pay, and here's the thing, like in normal games, like if you're running a Dungeons and Dragons game and someone's coming after you for money, they'll send like thugs after you, or you know, guards will come for you. But in L5R, there's a different way people will come for you for money, and that is, oh, I owe some money, and I've come to you and asked you to pay by this time. You have to pay by this. Give me at least something by this time. I can come after you with thugs, but I can also go talk to your lord.
Yeah.
And now you're in deep, deep doo-doo. I think that's a much bigger threat.
Blackmail aspect is much more interesting. Yeah.
It's like, I will go to your lord and tell them what you owe me and why you owe me this. And we'll see what that person, he or she, has to say about this. What kind of dishonor now you've brought to the entire clan because you can't pay your debt. You can't live up to your responsibilities.
Do you remember in Samurai Champloo the lady assassin named Sarah? She's the Goze, the traveling Goze with the spear in her thing.
Oh my goodness, I haven't seen that in such a long time. You're gonna have to refresh my memory.
So there's a character who is like a traveling Goze. She's like a traveling singer, and she's blind. And they meet her at a bar, and they kind of help her because people are like roughing her up and like bullying her. And then they offer to basically travel with her because they're all going to Nagasaki. And so they're like, well, we'll travel with you to help protect you on the way, and you know, we can stick together and just be good. And she makes a lot of money doing what she's doing, so they're living the lap of luxury basically. And then in one of the towns, there's this guy who's selling windmills to little kids, and he has this weird funky mask on, and he's whispering to her in a scene. And then later on, she asks like Fu whether Mugen or Jin would come to like continue escorting her, and then the other one can keep going with Fu and travel on with him. And originally Fu's like, well, you can take Jin. And during their travel, they cut back to a flashback of her talking to that guy, and he's like, we have your son, and if you don't do what we're gonna tell you to do to like kill these people, then we're going to kill your son. And like they're blackmailing her.
Dang.
And ever since I first watched that episode, and she turns out to be like an assassin working for the emperor, or not the emperor, the shogun, to like kill off Fu, Mugen, and Jin. And she doesn't want to kill Fu, and you can tell she's starting to like not want to kill Jin and Mugen either, but she's doing it because she thinks her son is alive and that she's going to save her son's life. And that guy, that little like shitter guy that's like wearing the mask and selling stuff to kids and threatening her son, that guy has always reminded me of the Kasuga family. And I was always thinking to myself, whenever I think of the Kasuga, that's the little guy who's like sitting behind the scenes. He doesn't ever look like he's threatening or like, you know, some big terrifying boss, like gang boss guy. But that dude is secretly behind the scenes really pushing some numbers.
Right,
and, that's what I think of when I think of
Kasuga samurai. They're not that powerful, but I think their power lies in the connections
What?
they have and the deviousness, the the lengths that they are willing to go in deviousness, right?
Exactly. Yeah. Same with
And
that guy. He's not very powerful. He doesn't have a bunch of like stuff, but he has enough to hold it over you to get you to do what he wants you to do. And he's got connections to really high up, authority figures in the
wouldn't it
government.
be great
Like,
if there were shuji that allowed the Kasuga to do that better? Like
yeah,
their
I
school
agree.
rank is okay. Their school technique is okay. Just like I mean, I can do social
My
checks
base
against
level.
peasants. Anybody can do so, but I can do them and get opportunity, not success. Like it's a weird like thing that you get. But
You
wouldn't
got
there
to
be?
layer on some techniques on here. Yeah.
So there are no techniques in this book.
Yeah.
There's no techniques in this book. There's no new advantages and disadvantages. There's nothing like that. No new equipment. That said, I give this a pass because this is a GM kit. This is for
Yeah.
the game master and not for players.
A player. Yeah.
Mind you, this is for part 2 is for player characters and it's 2 pages. I guess like if you get this as a PDF, you just print out these 2 pages and like shove them into your another book or something for
Yeah. Your
players to
player,
access, which is
the
fine.
player. Yeah.
I think
Binder.
that's yeah.
I agree. So if we're rating this, I think for GMs this is a must-have book because the adventure module is really amazing. Even if you don't run the adventure, you can grab so much inspiration from it that it's definitely like a must-have. And I highly recommend running the adventure module because it's just so good, so well written, so well thought out. It flows very well, like we said before, in the series of modules that Alpha put out, like Edge or Final Fantasy Flight put out originally. They're really good. I highly recommend it.
So is
That
this
being said, players don't necessarily need this book.
no players don't need this book at all. So would you
Yeah.
put this on the shelf as a narrator, or would you just keep the PDF for yourself? I mean, the whole Game Master's kit, it comes with tokens for the adventure, and it comes with a foldable
It comes with
screen.
dice too, doesn't it? Didn't it
No,
also
it
come
doesn't
with
come with
a
dice.
dice set?
No
I
dice.
thought it came with it.
No dice.
Yeah, I think 100% that I would, as a GM, I would buy this and put it on my shelf because it's that good. Though I wouldn't say that you would need to necessarily. You can get away with running this as if you don't want all of the bells and whistles that come with it, and you're not running this as like an in-person session. You probably don't need the GM screen and stuff. You'll probably be having those tools available to you through another means. But I still think it's worth the purchase. It's worth putting it on your shelf. It's such a good adventure module that you could go back to for inspiration so often. I would 100%
Game Master should
put it on
buy
myself.
this. It's a 100%
Yeah.
buy for either a physical edition or a PDF. Buy it, read it. Also,
Yeah.
I'm not a big like. I guess I'm weird in that I'm not big on Game Master screens. I think putting a barrier between me and my players is just that, a barrier, right?
Mhm.
And even when I use a Game Master screen, I get one of those like I can put whatever I want in it rather than buying one that's made for a specific game,
That's pre-built. Yeah.
because a lot of the stuff that's on a screen is stuff that I know intuitively, or if I don't know it now, if I use it more and more and more, I will be intuitively understanding it, and I will want to change that out with something that's more important that I may not know in the future. Like, oh, I don't need this part of the Game Master screen. Now I want this part, this
Yeah.
table here. So I like Game Master screens that I can adjust to whatever I want. And also, I put them on a side table and not in front of me between my players and stuff. And I know
Yeah.
I can't roll dice secretly because of that, but whatever. I don't care.
Yeah. It's fine.
I want to be next to my friends, guys.
I want everybody to be able to hold hands in an instant. I can't do that if there's a wall between me. Yeah, I mean, I agree. Having resources that you need is more valuable and more variable than what usually gets printed on a GM screen for any particular game system. I don't usually use them. I usually like to have my own rules and stuff printed out and have them on hand, and that's what I usually use when I'm running a game. Or I'll have like stuff pulled up on a computer screen or like printed out ahead of time. That way, I have access to them whenever I need them. Though that being said, the handout that we had when we first started playing L5R, the 5th edition L5R stuff, which was I think I still have it.
It was
like
player
a
made
cheat sheet guide.
Yeah,
that was player made, and that was really good. That was
a
really
fan
helpful.
made that, and thank you whoever did that. I don't even know. I have to look it up. But yeah,
I don't know who made it either, but it was super helpful. That gave me so much more information. We also used to have a probability chart from older editions. I still have the PDF for the
I
probability chart
loved those
breakdown
probability
of
charts.
Yeah,
those probability charts were amazing. So we have some time left. We got about 10 minutes before we go. I wanted to talk to you about the future of these streams and what we want to do. So I'm just gonna put up a nice little scene here, a nice little peaceful L5R scene. So I want to do more L5R content.
Yeah.
I mean, we can read Fields of Victory. I think we haven't done Fields of Victory and Celestial Realms yet.
Yeah, those are the two that we haven't done yet.
Okay. But I'd also
I'm down for. I love both those books were really good in my opinion. I'd like to go over them.
Okay.
They're good enough that they're worthy to go over. You know what I mean? Then there's also that new book that's supposedly coming out soon. I don't know how it's not going to be out soon enough for us to like review anytime immediately.
No, it's
but we could also do in terms of other L5R stuff we could do older books. I have a lot of the older editions. I think I have everything from first onward to 5th edition still in my PDF collection. I don't have the original hardcover books though because I lost them in a move, but I did have all of them at one point in time.
Pete, thank you for your great comment. Yeah, I'm glad we can help you out with all of your gaming stuff. We want to continue making L5R content here, even if the L5R content coming out of the official sources is a little sparse nowadays.
Yeah.
Which is kind of what I wanted to ask about. So we're not getting a new book until 2025, the Unicorn book. And we have constantly talked about how this edition has big glaring flaws in it. And if it takes 2 years between the next supplemental book, and they're not going to make a new edition until all of the clan books come out because that's what the fans want. The fans want at least all of the clan books to come out, which I'm against. I'm just like, let's start over right now. Let's go.
Yeah. Fix the rules. Set us up with a new edition. I would love that. But yeah, I get it. I get why people want they want a complete edition.
Let's make a live stream, where we would go through what rules we want to change for a new edition. And when it comes to our actual plays, we will implement those rules
and playtest
them live so we can see them in action. And we'll talk about them here on this stream, and then we can put them into our Shadow Empire Let's Play.
I think that's not a bad idea. I have a lot of opinions on a lot of the rules. We've talked about a lot of them throughout the series of talks we've had on this channel. We've talked about them in behind the scenes, and you've talked about them in the rules of L5R, how to play L5R videos you've made. Yeah, there's a lot of content there that we could go over, and a lot of room to kind of improve. and maybe even influence the people who are going to be working on the next editions or next books to like get some movement there,
Okay.
get some clarity.
So this is my plan going forward. We will do a live review of. I know you're itching to do Fields of Victory because you're a Lion guy.
Yeah.
So in 2 weeks, because it takes us about 2 weeks to get through a supplemental book, right? We've got
Yeah.
lives. We just can't sit down and ingest an entire book. I like to read about 20 pages a day and then call it quits and then do.
Get on with my day, doing everything else that I need to do.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I agree. It's a good cadence to go at.
So in 2 weeks, we'll do Fields of Victory, but next week, let's start the process on our next live stream will be what we want in an L5R game or L5R rule set.
Yeah.
For the next edition.
Let's choose a couple of rules to go over, and we can do like a little deep dive into how we would change it, what it's like now, how we would change it, that kind of
and
stuff.
Our premise will be that we're going to keep the same dice system and the core mechanics will remain the same, but everything around those core mechanics will kind of change, right? Like we can't make new dice unless you want to program in all new dice into the VTT. We can't change those dice. But what we can do is we can change how NPCs work. We can change how opportunities work. We can change how schools work, right? But the core of you roll dice, you get successes, and you make TNs. That is like the essence of this new system, L5R system, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So that's our starting point. And next week we'll figure out where we're going to go from there. I would love to just start with NPCs because how players interact with the game, I think, is the best way. But I think you might want to start with opportunities.
I think we can come to a compromise here and maybe start with NPCs and then move onward. NPCs is probably something that's more easily tackleable than condensing down opportunities at this point, because that may need a more comprehensive approach.
Yeah. But I would love all of you out there who love L5R to join us for these live streams, which are on Sundays at 2:00 Pacific time.
Yeah,
that's correct. Okay, good.
Yeah, I believe that's correct. Yeah.
And you're very welcome to join in these conversations as well.
Yeah, here in the chat or on the Discord, feel free to join us.
We'll be in the Discord too.
The Discord is linked in the description, so feel free to join us there. Or here, leave comments on the video. Join us in the live chat whenever we're doing the stream. Whatever, get a part of the conversation.
Yeah,
help influence the creation of the game you want to play. Right.
Yeah, and I would never say anything like I'm not here trying to sell a new edition of L5R. I'm here trying to make the creators pay attention and hopefully show them what the fans want.
And offer up some ideas that there are fans that have some ideas that could help improve the overall ecosystem.
And they can have my ideas for free. I run a YouTube channel.
Yeah.
We just want to have fun.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm not here trying to sell myself. Well, I am kind of. I mean, it's YouTube. But I'm not here trying to take over or anything. These are just our opinions here at the Dead Unicorn. All right. Well, thank you for watching, for commenting. We'll see you next week. From Tarek and me, my name is Corey. Go roll some dice.